Let's discuss about gymnosperms today. Gymnosperms, gymno means naked and the sperma means seeds. So these are the plants in which the ovules, they are not enclosed by any ovary wall. And both before as well as after fertilization, the seeds which develop post fertilization, they are not covered. So the ovules, they are not enclosed by any ovary wall and they remain exposed. So gymnosperms, they include medium-sized trees and tall trees and the shrubs. And one of the gymnosperms, the giant sequoia, is one of the tallest tree species. And the roots, they are generally taproot. And the roots in some genera, they have fungal association, which are called as, and that is why they are called as mycorrhizae. For example, Pinus. Whereas in others, like in Cycas, there are small specialized roots which are called as coralloid roots, and they are associated with the nitrogen fixing bacteria. So the stems, they are unbranched like in Cycas, or branched like in Pinus and Cedrus, and the leaves, they can be simple or compound. Cycas, the pinnate leaves, and a few years they persist. And the leaves in the gymnosperms, they are well developed to withstand extreme of temperatures, humidity and wind. So in conifers, the needle-like leaves, they reduce the surface areas, and their thick cuticle and sunken stomata, they also helps in reducing the water loss. Gymnosperms, they are heterosporous, that is, they produce haploid microspores and megaspores. The two kinds of spores, they are produced within the sporangia, that are borne on the sporophylls, and they are spirally arranged on an axis to form compact strobili or cones. The microspores, they develop into the male gametophyte, which is highly reduced and is confined to a limited number of cells, and this reduced gametophyte is called as the pollen grain. So the development of the pollen grain takes place within the microsporangia, and the cones bearing megasporophylls with ovules, they are called as megasporangia, and they are called as macrosporangiate or female strobili. The male or the female cones or strobili, they are born on the same tree like the Pinus, but in Cycas, the male cones and the megasporophylls, they are born on the different trees. So the megaspore mother cell is differentiated from one of the cells of the nucellus, and the nucellus is protected by envelopes which are composite structures which are called as the ovule. The ovules, they are born on the megasporophylls, and they may be clustered to form the female cones. You must have seen the cones in these trees or when you go to the hill station. So one of the megaspore enclosed within the megasporangium, it develops into a multicellular female gametophyte that bears two or more archegonia or female reproductive organs, and the multicellular female gametophyte, it is also related with the megasporangium. So bryophytes and pteridophytes, they are the different kinds of organisms, whereas gymnosperms, here the male and female gametophytes, they do not have any independent free living existence. They remain within the sporangia, and they are carried and the pollen grains, they are released from the microsporangium, and they are carried out by air currents, and they come in contact with the opening of the ovule born in the megasporophyll, and the gametes, they grow towards the archegonia in the ovules, and they discharge the contents in the archegonia, and after fertilization the zygote develops into the embryo, and then the ovules into the seeds, and these seeds actually are not covered. You can see here the examples of gymnosperms. This is the cone of the Pinus, this is the Cycas plant, and this is ginkgo. Next we come to angiosperms. Now, unlike the gymnosperms where the ovules are naked, In angiosperms, or the flowering plants, the pollen grains or the ovules are developed in the specialized structures which are called as the flowers. In angiosperms, the seeds are enclosed by the fruits, and the angiosperms, they are an exceptionally large group of plants occurring in the wide range of habitats, and they range in size from microscopic Wolffia to tall trees like eucalyptus, which are over 100 meters. They provide food, fodder, and they also in medicines, fuel, or several other commercially important products. They are made from these plants. They are divided into two categories, dicotyledonous and monocotyledonous. And dicots, they have two cotyledons in their seeds, while the monocots, they have only one. The male reproductive organ in a flower is the stamen, and each stamen consists of, you can see here in this diagram of the flower also, the stamen consists of filament and anther, and the anthers, they after meiosis produce pollen grains, and the female reproductive organs is the pistil or the carpel, and the pistil consists of ovary, which is enclosing many of the many ovules, and within the ovules are present highly reduced female gametophytes, which are called as embryo sac. So the embryo sac formation is followed by meiosis, and each of the cells of the embryo sac is haploid. Each embryo sac has 3-celled egg apparatus. Egg apparatus is 3-celled. Out of this, one is the egg cell, 2 are synergids, and 3 antipodal cells are there, and 2 polar nuclei. Now the polar nuclei, they fuse to form a diploid secondary nucleus also, and the pollen grains, they after dispersal from the anthers, they are carried by winds through various agencies, and they reach the stigma of the pistil, and this is termed as pollination. Pollination is of different types: cross pollination or self pollination also. Now the pollen grains, they germinate on the stigma, and they result in the formation of the pollen tube, which grows through the tissues and stigma, style, and reach the ovule. The pollen tube enters the embryo sac, where the 2 male gametes are discharged, and one of the male gametes, it fuses with the egg cell to form the zygote, and this is called as syngamy. And the other male gamete fuses with the diploid secondary nucleus, which involves which to produce the triploid endosperm nucleus, that is PEN. Now, because of the involvement of these two fusions, this event is also called as double fertilization. Now, this is an event which is unique in angiosperms only. So the zygote develops into an embryo with 1 or 2 cotyledons, and the primary endosperm nucleus, it develops into the endosperm, which provides nourishment to the developing embryo, and the synergids and the antipodals, they degenerate and after fertilization, and the ovary develops into the fruit. The ovary develops into the fruit, and ovules, they develop into the seeds. You can see here the life cycle of an angiosperm. Here you can see the gametophytic stage and the sporophytic stage, they both are there. So in the sporophyte stage, you can see here the structure of the flower, where you can see the anther and the filament are there in the structure of the stamen, and the stigma, style, and ovary are there in the structure of the female reproductive organ. Here the megasporangium or the ovule develops here, and microsporangium, it gives rise to microspores, which further gives rise to the pollen grains. So these pollen grains, when they settle on the stigma, they give rise to the 2 male gametes, and one of the male gamete fuses with the egg to form the zygote, and the other male gamete fuses with the 2 polar nuclei to form the endosperm. So this is how zygote and the endosperm, they are formed, which later on give rise to the new plant. Now, plant life cycle and alternation of generations. We can see in plants both haploid and diploid cells, they can divide by mitosis, and to form different plant bodies, that is haploid stage or the diploid stage are there. Haploid plant body produces gametes by mitosis, and this plant body represents the gametophyte. And after fertilization, the zygote develops through mitosis to produce the diploid zygote, and this represents the sporophytic plant body. So the life cycle of any asexually reproducing plants shows the alternation of generations between gamete producing haploid gametophyte and the spore producing diploid sporophyte. So different plant groups, they represent different patterns of life cycle. So first we are discussing about the sporophytic generation is represented only by the one-celled zygote, and there are no free-living sporophytes, and meiosis in the zygote results in the formation of the haploid spores. So the haploid spores divide mitotically and form the gametophyte. Here you can see spores divide and form the gametophyte, and the dominant photosynthetic phase in such plants is a free-living gametophyte. So this kind of life cycle is termed as haplontic life cycle. Many alga such as Volvox, Spirogyra, Chlamydomonas, they have this type of life cycle. Another type of life cycle is this. Here the diploid sporophyte is dominant, photosynthetic dependent phase of the plant, and the gametophyte is represented by a single to few celled haploid gametophyte. So this kind of life cycle is known as diplontic. Algae like fucus represent this pattern, and some seed bearing plants like gymnosperms and angiosperms, they also follow this pattern with some variations. There the gametophyte phase is few to multi-celled. Bryophytes and pteridophytes, they exhibit an intermediate condition that is called as haplodiplontic. Both phases are multicellular, however they differ in their dominant phase. A dominant interdependent photosynthetic thyroid or erect phase is represented by the haploid gametophyte, and it is alternative with the short-lived multicellular sporophyte, which is totally or partially dependent on the gametophyte for anchorage and nutrition. So all bryophytes represent this pattern, and the diploid sporophyte, that is represented by a dominant independent and photosynthetic vascular plant body, and it alternates with the multicellular saprophytic or autotrophic independent but short-lived haploid gametophyte. Such a pattern is known as haplodiplontic life cycle. All pteridophytes exhibit this type.